Dash and Lightning. Before going to bed, Dad asks T-Boy and H-Girl, "Okay, who are the main characters for our story today?" They reply, 2 robot heroes, 3 bad unicorns, Hydra, a 5-headed dragon, a huge zombie, a princess, a king, and a queen. Daddy said, the story began a long time ago in a magical country with ancient castles, kings, and somehow robots. There lived a king, a queen, and a beautiful princess. The royal family was very adored in this country. All the people were very content and lived happy lives. In this country, there were 2 very normal robots. One was named Dash, and the other one was named Lightning. They both worked together at a restaurant where they washed dishes and cleaned. The best thing about them was that they never felt tired. As long as their batteries were charged, they never felt overworked or sleepy. Dash and Lightning also loved living around other people. They both said, "Living with people around us makes us very cheerful." One day, a huge bolt of lightning struck the country. A horrible howling noise could be heard, but no one knew where it was coming from. A broadcast from the radio station was telling everyone to bring their food and treasures to the castle because the noble family was in danger. Everything was happening so quickly, and the townspeople didn't know what to do. All they could do was listen to the radio and do as they were told. However, it was soon discovered that anyone who took their treasures to the castle never came back. Even the heroes of the country entered the castle and didn't come back either. Soon enough, tons of people had gone missing throughout the country. Dash and Lightning worked hard to keep everything clean and make things better, but everyone was still very upset that so many people could not be found. Seeing this, the 2 robots got together one day and made a plan. The plan was to make the townsfolk laugh as they used to before people went missing. The 2 decided to go to the castle to find out what had happened to all the townsfolk. When they walked into the castle, the robots found the people unconscious on the floor. It turned out that the lightning strike had turned into a large invisible force field that covered the whole castle, and that everyone was injured because they got too close to it. Luckily, the force field didn't affect Dash and Lightning because they were robots. In fact, the closer they got to the force field, the more powerful they felt. They slowly sucked the power into their bodies to charge their batteries. Now the 2 robots were very confident, and they walked further into the castle. In the garden, they saw 3 evil unicorns guarding a small cage. The princess was trapped inside. Dash and Lightning charged towards the cage and demanded, "Let go of our princess." The unicorns were surprised that the robots had gotten in, but they weren't worried because their large horns could easily poke through everything. The 3 of them ran toward Dash and Lightning with immense speed. The robots couldn't run away in time and were hit by the unicorns, passing out. When Dash and Lightning woke up, their torsos were dented. They turned to look at the unicorns. The unicorns had not expected the robots to be made out of iron, so when they hit Dash and Lightning, their horns were pushed back into their heads, turning them back into ordinary horses. Dash and Lightning were glad that they were okay. They freed the princess from her cage and asked her where the king and queen were. The princess did not know where the king was, but she did know where the queen was. "She was taken to the dungeon by a big scary dragon," she squeaked. Upon hearing this, Dash and Lightning helped the princess up onto one of the ordinary horses and told the horse to go back to the town. Meanwhile, the duo continued on their journey and headed to the dungeon. In the distance, the robot saw the dragon, and Dash exclaimed, "Oh my gosh, this dragon has 5 heads." The 5 heads of the dragon were arguing with each other, so they didn't see the robots arrive. Dash and Lightning knew that the 5 heads represented the 5 elements: gold, wood, water, fire, and earth. The heads were fighting about who was the strongest, and none of them wanted to compromise. Dash and Lightning thought that they had defeated the unicorns only by luck, and that this dragon looked much more powerful than the bad unicorns. They chose to wait until the dragon fell asleep that night to call the queen. However, Dash and Lightning noticed that the dragon heads took turns to sleep. One would sleep while the others kept vigil. For 3 days and 2 nights, the robots patiently waited, but every day was the same as the last, with only one dragon head sleeping per night. Seeing no way around this, the robot duo had to think of another plan. Lightning thought of how the heads never agreed with each other because they all shared a body while having different ideas from one another. Eureka! Lightning thought of a plan and shared it with Dash. They found the element that represented each head. Many gold ornaments were placed in one corner, and wood was placed in the other one. They placed soil in one corner, and a bucket of water opposite to it. Finally, they ignited a fire in the last corner. The dragon woke up, and each head moved towards what they wanted. The fire head went to the fire, the water head to the bucket of water, the earth head to the soil, the wood head to the wood, and the gold head to the pile of gold. Of course, there was no way that their body could go in all directions at the same time, so the dragons fought about which way to go. Then, because of all the struggle and pulling, the dragon broke all its necks simultaneously. Dash and Lightning ran over to the queen and saved her. The dragon heads really regretted fighting now. If they had been more reasonable, they could have gotten all the elements. Since they were all so selfish, they had hurt themselves and got nothing to show for it. They had lost the queen, and they all wished they had been more friendly with each other. Dash and Lightning asked the queen where the king was, and learned that he was in the highest part of the castle, and to make matters worse, he was being guarded by a big, bad zombie. The zombie was the most powerful of them all. Dash and Lightning sent the queen off onto the second, ordinary horse towards the town while they ventured on. Dash and Lightning reached the top of the castle after an exhausting walk. They saw the zombie from a distance and noticed that he was very large and strong. The robot duo observed the zombie for a few days, but didn't find any weaknesses. The two decided to attack the zombie from the front because the king couldn't be locked up any longer. They gathered up all their courage and advanced towards the zombie, step by step. 10 meters, 5 meters, 1 meter. Huh, the zombie doesn't seem to see us, Dash. They realized that the zombie's favorite thing to do was catch humans, but they weren't human, they were robots. Dash and Lightning were so happy. The duo made traps throughout the room using the strongest metal chains they could find. They slowly made their way around the zombie and let the king out of the cage. As soon as the king stepped out, the zombie smelled human flesh and charged towards him. This allowed Dash and Lightning to trap the zombie with the chains so that he couldn't move. Dash and Lightning happily led the king to the last ordinary horse and headed back to the town. Along the way, they dragged the dragon and the zombie out of the castle. The people of the town were anxiously awaiting the return of the royal family, hoping they would make it out alive and well. Everyone cheered the moment they saw the king appear. Dash and Lightning soon became known throughout the country as the greatest, most famous heroes alive. The end.